There's a lot of debate at the moment about how old children should be when they get their first phone, quote unquote. But those are not really phones, are they? I mean, when was the last time you saw a child at a restaurant talking on their phone? Exactly. Well, as a Generation Xer, I got my first phone in 1996 when I was 23. Can you imagine it? And this was my first ever mobile phone. Say hello to the Nokia 2010, which is my tech nomination for 1996. Now, the 2010 model was released in 1994, and it came with this pull-out antenna if you wanted good signal. And of course, I got my phone second-hand because that made it more affordable. Also because these phones were advancing quickly with every passing year. By 1996, when I got this phone, this had been replaced by the more advanced 1610 model with a fixed antenna, nothing to pull out. This was the bee's knees in 1996. And this was soon replaced by a slightly upgraded business model, which had a larger battery. Now back to the 2010 model, I remember having to charge this bad boy for 12 hours to get the battery fully charged. And even then, at best, once I started making phone calls, the best time I ever got was 20 minutes. And then I had to charge it all over again. Can you imagine? This monochrome screen could display 2 lines of text, which meant there was a lot of upping and downing on this button here, which you can see has been worn out. An even funnier story is, once I got my phone, my friend started sending me SMS messages, which stands for short message service, in other words, text messages. He started sending them to me, but they never came through. I couldn't figure out how to get my messages on my phone. So I ended up calling my network provider, and I remember distinctly being told by the operator that, well, your network plan doesn't include text messages. And I was like, what? So of course I had to pay the equivalent of something like $10 to upgrade my network plan in order to be able to receive text messages. That's how things were back in those days. Imagine that today. So my tech nomination for 1996 is the 2010 Nokia, my first ever phone. So as a Generation Xer, I would say that we probably were the last generation to grow up without a mobile phone until we first reached adulthood. Well, that genie's never going back in the bottle. Imagine that. See you on the next video.